All right, hello everybody. Welcome to our Rawa Youth presentation. I'm your presenter, Aliya Kochak. I'm a high school senior and I'm very much happy to be here with you tonight. Next to me, I have my co-presenter, Bahar.
Hello everybody, I hope you're having a nice evening. I'm Bahar Kasa, I'm a freshman in high school. With that being said, let's get started.
Okay. For those who don't know, Rawa Youth stands for the Raindrop Women's Youth Association of Houston. In the next slide, we'll examine our mission and purpose. As Rawa Youth, our vision is to support youth, specifically newcomers and asylum seekers, in their extracurricular and academic ventures in the United States through platforms and peer mentorship. And our mission is to create a platform for these people to accomplish their youth projects. Okay, in the next slide. Underneath Rawa Youth, we have 4 sections, Twist, Pine Art Cafe, Media and Relations, and the Trail of Hope, each addressing a different need of our system and our cause. Starting off, we'll focus on our Twist sector. Okay, in our next slide, Twist stands for The World is Stronger Together. With Twist, we organize volunteering activities, mainly focused on refugee aid. We also have several activities we've done with the United Nations. With this process, we were able to establish prestigious projects, gain incredibly valuable experiences, and most important of all, raise awareness to the plaguing refugee crisis of Turkey. We are the more activist and humanitarian aid focused branch of Rawa Youth. Okay. Our projects from previous years consist of our Youth Interfaith Iftar Dinner, tutoring sessions with YMCA, Refugee Run of Houston, Greece visit, fundraising activities, and the UN Commission on the Studies of Women project. In later slides, we will examine these events in more detail. Okay, starting off, we have our Youth Interfaith Iftar Dinner from 2019. We hosted an interfaith youth-only iftar where we brought in Jewish, Christian, and Muslim speakers to talk about the concept of fasting in their tradition. For this event, we had more than 100 attendees. Okay, in the next slide, another notable event has been the Run for Refugees event done in Houston. Here we gathered at a public park and had an art affair dedicated to Turkish refugees. We featured art directly from Turkish refugees as well as the AST and Rawa youth members. We also had an accompanying marathon in which we were able to raise awareness for our cause. We had more than 300 participants. In the next slide, you will see some example pictures of our event. Yeah, okay. In the next slide, in the Raindrop Foundation of Houston, we also hosted some more fundraising events, such as movie nights, the Regaib Kandili for Kids Activity Center, and so on and so forth. Through consistent efforts in raising funding, our interns were able to gather money through a variety of fundraisers, ranging from GoFundMes to babysitting sessions in order to make the Greece trip happen. Through this funding, not only were they able to go to Greece, but they also gathered the necessary items for donations for the families in refugee camps and refugee stations. In the next slide. Okay, in Greece, our interns did 22 house visits. They met 100 refugees stationed in Greece, spent a day just with the kids, teaching them Taekwondo and other fun activities, and had the opportunity to meet a family that had just crossed the Myrta River 2 days prior to them coming, as well as a family who had been stationed in Greece for 2 years straight. In the next slide, you'll see some more joyful pictures. Making the kids happy probably was the most fulfilling part of the trip, according to many interns. Okay. In 2017-2018, our Rawa youth coordinators, they attended the United Nations Commissions on the Studies of Women conference. And in the next slide, you'll see some pictures from the conference. Okay. And in this slide, 2 of our members attended the UN annual dinner at the Houston chapter representing Rawa youth. And in the next slide, in 2020, 3 Rawa Youth Group projects were accepted for the Commissions on the Studies of Women panel. However, due to the pandemic, they were unable to officially go. They also participated in the UNA's Women's Day event in 2020. Okay. Our new plans consist of deepening our involvement with refugees through our Sponsor a Family project, ongoing project, tutoring refugees in core classes, as well as general volunteering for their needs. In the next slide, you'll see some more interfaith-related activities. With Texas Youth Dialogue Academy, we hosted a 10-week course where we studied the importance of interfaith and intercultural activities. We brought in religious officials such as priests, reverends, and imams to present us important topics about their religion. We even had a seminar hosted by Professor Craig Considine. He's a Christian scholar from Bryce University. Okay, we would also like to thank our interns for their consistent and valuable contributions. Thank you, ladies, for your inspiring efforts and for choosing to make a difference at Rawa Youth. And in our last slide related to Twist, Twist doesn't have a separate medium for connection. So to those interested in joining, we advise you to contact us through our main social media accounts or phone number or email. And with that being said, I will leave the spotlight to Bahar.
All right. Thank you, Aliye. Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a nice evening. I'm Bahar Kase, and I will be talking about Trail of Hope in this next few minutes. So Trail of Hope was originally created to help immigrants, specifically young immigrant girls, to adapt to their environments. We chose specifically to focus on young immigrant girls because we had a lot of experience with trying to adapt to the environment. Besides creating projects, we also volunteer in our community and we also mentor the children in our community. And here are some of the events that we have joined to. In 2018 and 19, we experienced our first volunteering. We visited senior houses, created blankets, and gave the elderly gifts for Christmas. Not only did we gain experience in our community, but we also were happy to see the smiling faces of the older people in the Houston community. In 2019 and 2020, we hosted a movie night for immigrant children in our community. We allowed them to bond together and make new friendships by eating popcorn together and drinking and watching a movie. With the money that we collected by selling popcorn, drinks, and the tickets, we helped those in need in Greece and Turkey. We also hosted a children's festival in 2019 and 2020. Just like the movie night, this serves the purpose of having children bond together, have fun by playing our games, and also by selling food and tickets for the games, we fundraise money to help our brothers and sisters in Greece and Turkey. In the year of 2019 and 2020, we got accepted to the United Nations Conference with the topic of empowering refugee girls through a network of educational opportunities. Sadly, we couldn't attend because of the coronavirus, but we have a spot reserved to present to future leaders. Here are some of the images you will see of the Children's Festival in 2020. Not only did we do these events, but we also felt the need to help those working in the front lines against COVID-19. We created a gift basket full of snacks and thank you cards and gave them to health workers in Pearland, Texas. We were very happy to see their delighted faces and hope we can keep up this work. One of our current projects is the Food and Toy Drive. The food drive portion of this project is created to help families who are struggling to bring food to the dinner table because of the budget cuts they had during the COVID-19. Toy drive part of this project is created so that we can help children fighting cancer be more happy during these hard times because they are not able to see their families as much because of the pandemic. One of our most recent and ongoing projects is the Career Talks for Young Women. This is a series in which we invite successful women in their careers to give young immigrant girls some advice and a motivational speech. On December 12th, we had chemical engineer Dr. Shema Aslan, who is a professor working with Yale and an innovator working with L'Oreal, give these young girls some inspiring words. and we are very happy to have her as a guest. We will continue this project in the future, along with online senior house visits, an outdoor movie night, special fundraisers, and much more. This is all we have for the Trail of Hope. Please stay by your screens. We will be back with you shortly after a few minutes of break.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kubra. I am a 9th grader in high school. I am very thankful for you all to be here.
Merhaba, ben Ahsen, 10. sınıfım.
And we are going to be telling you a little bit about Rova. We can move on to our presentation. Thank you. So I joined Rova this year as an intern, and I will be telling you about one of the 4 branches of the Rova, which is Pine Art Cafe. So our Pine Art Cafe is a youth-led cafe that initiates art projects. As you can see in the images below, this is the inside of our cafe, which our classes and workshops usually take place in. Our ribbon cutting ceremony was the very first event in our cafe. It was the opening ceremony, and it was a very exciting day for all of us. For our members, in addition to our interns, we also have a lot of newcomers actively involved. Some are instructors and some are students. In the right, we have our guitar lessons, and on the left, we had our painting. We also organize art classes and send proceeds to refugees in need. All the money that we get from the art classes are sent to people in need. Fine Art Cafe in classes offers cross-stitch, terrarium, drawing, guitar, piano, violin, and many more. We also participated and took place in festivals and galleries, such as the Refugee Art Festival, Showcase at Women Empowerment Panel, and Sugarland International Art Festival. To our next slide. And here are some pictures from our art festivals, as you can see. Next, we have so as you know, we mentioned the Run for Refugees, and Pine Art Cafe was responsible for the art exhibition portion of our run. So as you know, in COVID, we are not allowed to be in small spaces together and share materials. So we have opted for another solution of offering our art classes virtually. So far, we have had virtual piano lessons and virtual acrylic painting workshops. All money that we get from these, because we do require a fee, is sent to people and donated. In addition, during the summer, we also hosted book clubs for 2 separate books. One of our recent projects is in November of 2020, we partnered with Love Without Borders and held a virtual art exhibition and fundraising. Our refugee artists sent us their art. And here is our team at Pine Art Cafe. If you would like to contact us or participate in any events that we hold, you can find us on Instagram at Pine Art Cafe Youth. And thank you for having me.
Ben size benim de bu yıl bir parçası oldum. Rava'nın medya grubundan bahsedeceğim. Bir sonraki slaytta Rava olarak Instagram, Facebook ve YouTube'da aktif olarak rol almaya çalışıyoruz ve aktif rol gösteriyoruz. Rava olarak 21 Ocak 2021'de ilk sayımız olan Youth Magazine çıkartacağız ve içeriğinde şiirler, kısa hikayeler, sanat çalışmaları karikatürler, üniversite hakkında bilgiler ve tavsiyeler olacak. Aynı zamanda yazı ve çizim yarışmaları, yemek tarifleri ve daha fazlası. Sosyal medyada olabildiğince aktif olmaya özen gösteriyoruz ve özellikle şu sıralar YouTube için özel projeler hazırlıyoruz. YouTube için projelerimizde drama club kurmak ve tiyatro projelerimizi YouTube üzerinden yayınlamak, akademik seminerlerle gençlere geleceğe hazırlamak, alanda profesyonel insanlarla sohbetler yapmak, gençlerimizin bir konu hakkında farklı görüşlerini paylaştığı münazara tadında videolar ve müzik ve ilahi eşliğinde hadis ve salavat paylaşımı yapmayı düşünüyoruz. Gençler için neden drama club oluşturduğumuz ise gençler için eğlenceli aktiviteler ve diyaloglar oluşması, okul işlerinden biraz olsun rahatlamaları, üretken vakit geçirmeleri ve daha sonra gelecek yıllarda Rava'ya katılacakları zaman akıllarında bir fikir oluşturması ve aynı zamanda tabii ki bu sıralar pandemi dolayısıyla pandemi kurallarına uyarak onların pandemi esnasında sosyalleşmesi, YouTube kanalımıza yardımcı olmaları ve medya grubunun işlerinde yine rol almaları. Bu ise son olarak bizim Müslüman, Christian ve Yahudi arkadaşlarımızla dünyanın barışı ve sağlığı için yaptığımız dua canlı yayınıydı. İzlediğiniz için teşekkür ederiz. Şimdi sizin sorularınızı alacağız.
Okay.
Evet,
Yeah, I can read them from the chat. So, first question is, projelerinizi nasıl seçiyorsunuz? Proje seçerken nelere dikkat ediyorsunuz? Who would like to take this one?
Bence proje seçerken ihtiyaca bakıyoruz. Community'mizin nelere ihtiyacı var. Bu ihtiyaçlara göre buna çözüm olarak projeler üretmeye çalışıyoruz. Dediğimiz gibi mesela refugee genç kızlarımızın buraya geldiğinde akademik ve extracurricular aktivitelerde yardıma ihtiyaçları oluyor. Buna uygun mesela bir proje oluşturuyoruz. İhtiyaca bakıyor bence.
I can comment on that. So as the twist sector, we are kind of the leading point of the group. Generally, other projects tend to shape around us as we make the bigger decisions, I'd say, because we do have number one, older members, and we do bigger projects. For example, when we had the refugee run, Pine Art Cafe contributed their art exhibitions to us. Media Relations records us, and Trail of Hope combined with Pine Art Cafe, they do the same service. So when it comes to choosing projects, I feel like we are the first filter. Okay. And the second question is, bu tarz projelerde yer almak sizlere ne kattı?
That's a very good question. I would say, to begin with, it opened up doors for me and a lot of connections. And I'm a rather shy person, so participating in such activities, I feel like opened a little bit of those doors for me. And I got to meet a lot of new people. So that's what I would say.
Bahar, any contributions?
I would say that it really adds to self-confidence, just like Kubra said. And you get to see some of the problems and you kind of brainstorm solutions without even having to do it. It's basically slides into your subconscious. And I think it's a really good way of creating future leaders.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's
third question. Oh, did someone want to say something? Okay. And the third question is, Refugee Girls Empowerment projesinden paylaşmak istediğiniz güzel bir hatıra var mı? I think somebody talked about that in more in depth. Bahar, was it you?
Yes, it was me. I think one of the best experiences we had was with Dr. Shema Aslan. We were in constant contact with her, and she would always fix our mistakes. I think that was the best part of having an inspiring speaker for the girl empowerment. Because it always becomes an inside joke once she starts correcting our mistakes. Not only are we learning from our mistakes, but we're also making a lot of things more presentable. So I think the best part or most memorable parts from this would be her helping us with those.
All right, excellent answer. Question number 4 is Texas eyaleti dışından üye kabulünüz oluyor mu? Kibra, I think you have the answer to this question if I don't remember incorrectly.
So here's how, usually before COVID, when we were in person, we could only reach our own community around Houston and in Texas. However, being virtually, we are more applicable to everybody else. For example, we have some interns from Greece. So I would say yes to that answer. We are open to anybody who would like to take part in ROA.
Perfect. Question number 5 is there a Raindrop Youth group for boys as well? I think Kibra, you also know the answer to this question.
I have all the answers today. And unfortunately, no, we do not have a section for boys. And ROA was specifically built on a women association. However, if there is enough requests, that is something we would love to consider.
Number 6 is Drama Club projelerinden biraz daha bahsedebilir misiniz? Neler yapıyorsunuz drama kulübünde?
Drama kulübünde genelde gerçek hayattan kesitler olan bir takım senaryolar üzerinden oyunlar hazırlamaya çalışıyoruz. Ve bazen bazı hikayeleri de kullanıyoruz.
Ben de ona ekleyebilirim. Senaryolar yazılıyor, roller bölünüyor. Ona göre Drama Club'da eğer üyeseniz dağıtılıyor senaryomuz, çekiliyor. Bu şekilde oluyor sistem.
Question number 7 is, what are the challenges you face creating projects during the pandemic? I can take the ball for this one. So one of the primary challenges I think we face is communication, specifically because we're not around each other anymore, and we have new members outside of Houston. So that adds on to the communication difficulty we may face. Regarding executing projects, we are certainly not doing in-person projects. All of them are online. As the Twist sector, recently we did 2 conferences about Greece where we presented our Sponsor a Family project. However, I feel like with the limit COVID-19 brought, it also opened a new door for us because we had the chance to present this presentation to multiple types of people in multiple states, if I don't remember incorrectly, and different parts of Texas and different communities. So we weren't confined to just Houston. Now we have donators from Odessa, as far as I know, from Houston, and I think a couple in other states. So that was a good part. It expanded our connections.
Speaking for Pine Cafe, obviously we do art, and art requires passing around material, a lot of people in the same environment, collaborating. So that's not something that we can do now. So we had to transport that virtually, which we are doing by offering virtual classes. So that's another challenge it poses for our cafe.
Yep. Okay. Number 8 is bu tarz bir proje diğer yerlerde de başlatılabilir mi? Başlatmak isteyenlere ne gibi tavsiyeleriniz olur? Nelere dikkat etmeliler? I can take the ball for this one as well. Of course, bence her yerde buna benzer projeler başlatılabilir. All you need is goodwill, funds, and a building. I mean, you don't even need a building these days. However, for advice I can give for anybody who's willing to look into these projects, I would say have a good support system because, again, our event coordinators for the Twist sector, or like for in RAWA Youth in general, we have 2 groups. One of them is our RAWA Youth coordinators. These are our college outlaws and older outlaws. They manage the girls and the interns, and the interns consist of high schoolers. and they're divided into Pine Art Cafe, Media Relations, and so on. So it is good to have that organization and that set of that support system. If you are, a teenager who wants to start this project, I'd advise at least getting one adult to do the more professional parts of that business, because again, in our Greece trip, for example, visas, traveling to Greece, etc., we needed a chaperone, and collecting the funds, sending money, and things like that. We benefited greatly from our coordinating oblas. So again, boy, girl, teenager, wherever you are, if you're trying to build something like this in another state, my advice would be at least get one person, one adult to support you throughout the process. Okay. Any other questions? I haven't got any other questions yet. Okay. Is there anything anybody would like to add? Any of our presenters? Yep.
I guess I could add on the advice to give for people who would like to start something like ROA. I'd suggest to have like a good networking advertisement system, because if you don't have, nowadays, the best way that we advertise our stuff is through social media, whether it's Instagram or YouTube, or even through the older people in our community. I think it's best to have a really good way to network your advertisements.
Yeah, I agree. Because, especially because I came to know Rawa Youth through social media, actually, and through their networking system. And if you follow their Instagram accounts and their YouTube channels, you'll see you'll be updated more frequently on events. And again, in every single event we have, everybody's invited to join. Everybody's invited to participate. So you'll be updated more frequently on our anywhere else, in my opinion. And yeah, that is all I have to add. Anybody else would like to add a few lasting comments? Okay.
Thank you so much for having us and listening to us, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed and learned a little bit about ROA.
And about our Texas support system based here in Houston. And good evening. Thank you for listening, and have a good night. Bye.